This kid's fire.
What's that? What's that, brother? What's that? What's that, brother? Brother, what's that, brother? What's that? What's that, brother? Brother, what's that? What's that, brother? What's that? What's that, brother? Brother, what's that, brother? What's that? What's that, brother? Brother,
Yes, people, welcome back to another stream. Hopefully, you guys are all doing well. Make sure you guys smash the likes on the way. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel as well if you're new. Back on a Thursday, man, with the show. Hooks has joined today, man. Potsy's off doing some professional filming with AFTV in it. So, like, you know what I mean? We're not all like him, you know what I'm saying? We're all humble here. We all got our little channels and that. We're all just doing our thing, but damn Pot's celebrity in it, you know what I'm saying? I see his fan cams and that, you know what I mean, getting 30, 40, 50k. So yeah, man. But big up to you guys, man. How's everyone doing? Everyone good?
Great.
Good.
Couldn't be better.
Yeah, man. I got my first international call up. You know what I'm saying? Made it to the international team. So yeah, man, I'm gassed, man. Big up, love for having me on, man.
Nah, big up, man. Big up. Listen, I want to start off with Roms, man, because although it's not like official, it's all but done now, bro. 4 games left.
Yeah,
I think you need a one single point before you are officially crowned Premier League champions. Talk to him, man. How you feeling it? You got a couple contract extensions done as well. Slot's first year. You only signed Chiesa. I mean, fair play, innit?
Yeah, that wasn't even his signing. You could tell by how much he plays him. But yeah, man, maiden season had to deal with. And I was just saying to Hooks on his channel, it's not like it was 3 random players like a Kwanzaa or Endo or like a Jota or whatnot. These were 3 best players you had to deal with throughout the course of the season. I think after Wolfie will smile here, after the early Forest loss, I think that's when rival fans tried to lump on, is the slot machine broken? And it's like, we just carried on doing what we were doing. We've been the most consistent. I think we've deserved it. I know people speak about Leeds Entertain and PGML and all that, but look, the refs are incompetent across the whole board. I think all of our clubs can bring up injustices against all of our clubs, but I'm just gassed because I've only seen 2 league titles, and the first one I didn't really even get to see. This one I'll get to see, going to the parade and whatnot. No better club to do it against than Spurs, because they would sell out anyway because it's Arsenal. We're going to put a lot past them. They're not going to play their strongest team, even if they did come, albeit it's Spurs. And I just think it's been a great season, man. It's been a great season. To go 26 games unbeaten in any season is impressive. And I see a stat today in all of City's title wins in the Premier League era, they've never gotten 26 games unbeaten. So say what you want about us, but it's been a very good. Have we been as good as what we were in when we last won the league? No. Like, I've seen better Liverpool sides, but it's still a good Liverpool team, and I feel like there's a lot of room for optimism because we've not spent money. And I was just saying on Hooks' channel, what's annoying about when we were at the top previous times, we never did enough to stay at the top. We never improved from a position of power. And I don't have this animosity against City. We didn't win all these things because of Man City. No, we didn't win these things of ourselves. We didn't reinvest into our team, and we were always 2-3 summers behind on what we had to do. But I think we actually spend this year, and it's really time to be a good Liverpool fan. And I think this is the best. This is the best chance to also retain the league as well, because I think a lot of other teams. I think we probably have the least to do out of the teams that are going to go for the league. Personally, everyone has to strengthen their team, but I think it's a great time to be a Liverpool fan. And yeah, there was a rocky spell at a time this year. Obviously, losing a cup final and getting knocked out to PSG 4 days earlier, and it was a bit deflated. And then again you get the questions: will the wheels fall off? And then again we resumed back to normal, started to win games again. And yeah, man, number 20, we matched the Salford boys, who I can't stand, and back on our perch. What can I say? But it's great to be a Liverpool fan right now, man. Great.
Well, congratulations, mate. Well
Thank
done.
you.
Well
Thanks.
deserved. It's good. I just feel like it was done too early. You know what I mean? It's like I feel like I've congratulated you back in January, and now like it's coming official. So, oh, we're gonna have to do this whole freaking Guard of Honor parade again. So, but that's no disrespect or fault of you guys. It's the rest of the league who didn't keep up with your pace. Do you know what I mean? It's just has it taken a little bit of the gloss off, like not having that exciting running?
What I would say is it's a bit anticlimactic till the parade, in my opinion, because it was done so early and we didn't kind of have that running, like, oh, we're going to win it, are we not? We knew from early we were winning it. But I think when we actually lift the trophy and we're with all our fans and there's millions in Liverpool City Centre, that's when it's going to really sink in for me. For me, it can't sink
millions,
in.
yeah?
Yeah, it's expected to be 1.2 million in the city centre, bro. The one in
LB
2019
would know about that. They get
Yeah, fucking millions is a bit mad, but there's
the one in 2019, LB, that was 850k in the city for that day, well, the estimations, but this one will be around 1.2 in the city
Where are you
centre.
going to park, Roms? It's a long drive up to that.
Well, luckily, I'm going with my uncle and my dad.
Manchester,
So
innit?
they're parking in an area called Wallasey, so it's about 30 minutes outside the city centre. Then we're just probably going to get a cab into the city centre. But yeah, I actually don't have that problem. But to park will be a nightmare. It'll be an absolute nightmare. But yeah, man, this season, you're right, Wolfie, to a degree, because it's one. So I feel like when you win a title, which I've not experienced, on the last day or with a couple of games to go, like it's like, oh, like we've done it, like we actually conquered something. Where it was done a bit early, it's still good, and you're still gonna celebrate it. But I know what you mean. It's a bit anticlimactic, and even the way it happened, like losing to Plymouth, and I've always said, just because we rotated our whole 11, any 11 should be beating them, and then to get knocked out by PSG a couple of days earlier, that week was tough. I think we kind of put on a facade that week. That week was annoying because it's like, oh, will they now bottle the league? Like, is this gonna set in a bit of panic? But just to keep winning, and like I said, 26 games unbeaten and being the most consistent. And look, we could still get 90 points, and to get 90 points to win any league is still a very good return. So yeah, I can't lie, LB. I'm just gassed, and like I said last week, after this weekend, I do think you'll start seeing us we're going to be on the piss. We're generally going to be on the piss. You might see us just putting in these mad performances, but I want Salah to break them records. So I hope we still do put in our all for the remaining 3 or 4 games.
Can I ask you a question?
Go on.
This summer feels important for me to Liverpool because I think you're in a position now where I agree with you. You don't need that much in the summer. But what I think you need is a longer term plan. Looking at Van Dijk, looking at Salah, looking at players like that who are coming towards the twilight, should we say, of their career. Do you expect your board to start thinking more long term rather than short term, where they may need to invest, say, to get a Salah replacement and Van Dijk replacement, maybe a good couple of $100 million? Do you see them doing that? Or do you see the scenario where I feel last time you did this, your midfield had aged too much and it was ignored until it was too late? And I think that's why maybe you haven't won it for the last couple of years. Do you trust your board to invest for long term, or do you think it will be a short term summer?
I think it will be a long term summer. I think we'll think long term in the positions that we don't need to think long term. And I say that to say this, right? To sign a right-sided player, knowing you're going to play second fiddle to Salah, there's only a certain level of player you can sign, and they have to be maybe a sporadic player or a player that's potential or a player that's a project player, because a lot of players want to be playing week in, week out. And this is why I even said with the Højsund deal, apparently us or Chelsea are front runners. But the reason why I think Chelsea are most likely to get him, yes, we're playing Champions League football or not, but he's even said he's coming out of a team where he plays week in, week out to then playing second fiddle to Konate and Van Dijk. And so to answer your question, I think we'll be long-term in your Kirkes, because I've said for about a month. I think that's actually wrapped up. I think that's 90% done, in my opinion. I think Kirkes will be our long-term successor to Robertson at left back. I do think we'll get a DM, whether it's a Baleba, whether it's a Stiller from Stuttgart. I've not seen much of him, but a lot of people I stream with seem to rate him quite highly. I think even a left winger, because I think Nunes goes 100%. Saudi will sign it, and I think either or Diaz or Jota go. I don't think both, because you can't sell your whole front line. Like, you can't have too much wholesale changes, but I think either or will go. And I think we find a long-term left winger. But in terms of centre-back and right wing, and then you're looking at Van Dijk and Salah, we can only sign a player that's going to be for the future. And is that going to elevate us to the next level? I'm not too sure, because no one's going to want to play second fiddle to Salah or a Van Dijk or Konate. So to answer your question, Wolfie, I think it will be a long-term plan in other areas that aren't necessarily the priorities, I think.
Did that worry you? Because I get exactly what you said, and it makes a lot of sense. But like, I would expect your board, your recruitment team, and everything to be scouting maybe, say, a young wonder kid, as the football manager phrase would be, who could come in and maybe develop for a year or two to then overtake.
What about Turkey?
I'd love Turkey, but I can't see us signing. I feel like Slot's going to move away from that kind of 10 or that kind of attacking midfield. I think he wants more of a technical defensive midfielder. And that was evident in the summer. Because one thing I realized about Slot, he's not going to sign players for the sake of it. There's a reason why he only wanted Zubimendi. We couldn't get Zubimendi and we didn't get anyone else. Because I think when he wants to play, it has to be them. I don't think he likes plan Bs and plan Cs, which you kind of have to have, because you're not going to get all of your number one targets. But I can't see us getting Turkey. I think we're going to look more to a Baleba, or I've seen links this morning again. We're linked to Edison from Atalanta again, and we were actually linked with him under Slot. But I think his priority is the first two positions I think we sign are left back and a DM, because I think Gravenberch, he probably wants to push a bit further forward. I know it could disrupt the balance, but I think, look, so Bozlai, he's been up hot and cold. He will have a good month, then he'll have a poor month, then he'll have another good month. But I think Slot doesn't necessarily trust him. He's very good what we need in terms of balance, but from when he come out and said a couple months ago his numbers need to improve, I think he's looking to put McAllister and Gravenberch a bit forward and then get that DM. And I think we're heavily linked with Baleba and a guy.
Well, on the Gravenberch thing, right? And first of all, I think Gravenberch deserves a lot of praise this year.
Yeah.
I think he's done a great job. However, I'm allowed to say he's done a great job, and at the same time say that I don't think he is a long-term six for Liverpool. I think that's very fair and balanced. I think he's done a great job. I think he's massively overachieved and done mad better than everybody else thinks. But in the big games, I think you can see that he's not a six. So yeah, I think that obviously you can definitely keep him. I'm not saying sell him or anything. But keep him as a backup six, but yeah, maybe look to use him a little bit further up the pitch. Maybe as an 8, I don't know. But I do still think that you need to go in the market and buy a 6. Obviously, he tried to sign one last year, didn't get it, and Gravenberch has done a fantastic job. But yeah, when I watch you in the big games like the PSG, I just felt that he was struggling to sort of like, really control that midfield like an elite.
Do you think he played too much, LB?
I do definitely think that part of it is due to the fact that he's probably, he's been spammed out, and Slot clearly doesn't trust Endo, does he? That's all.
Yeah.
But I still think that even though he has probably got tired and he has been a little bit knackered, I still think there is just the fact that he's just not a natural 6. So if you can go in the market and get Baleba, and we know you've got the money because you dropped 100 on Caicedo before he rejected you, and you didn't spend anything in the summer, having him in the midfield with Gravenberch, wow. That'd be the legs there is crazy, man.
Crazy, bro. And I said start of the season, if Liverpool want to go to that next level, Gravenberch can't be the 6. It's not that he can't play the 6, because you saw, I'd say from about September to January, from August to January, he was sublime. But this is where it's a bit of a slight on Slot. Slot doesn't really like rotating. So without rotation, players are going to fatigue. It's not rocket science. And I said in August, for us to go to the next level, McAllister, because McAllister can play 10. I know there's a lot of people in our fan base that say no, he's better as an 8, because I think he likes to see the bigger picture. When you're more of the advanced role, your picture kind of it lessens it. It's almost smaller. You can't see as much of the pitch because you're receiving the ball kind of in between the 8 and the 9 as such. But I've said if we want to go to next level, push Gravenberch into the 8, where I think is his best position. Put McAllister more in a kind of, I don't want to call it a 10 role, but a more advanced role, and get that DM. And then there's no shade in saying Szoboszlai comes on the last 20 minutes with his industry to see out a game. These are headaches you kind of want. So I think we definitely do need a DM, and I think we do. I think this summer, I'm not normally optimistic going into summers, but the fact we've not spent a lot of money, I think you get 150 million for winning a Prem or something in that region. We definitely will spend. We have to this summer. We have to. And I was saying LB before you left. You know, you get a bit of Liverpool fans saying, "Oh, we didn't win the league because of City cheating, this, that, and other." No, it's on us. We never strengthened from a position of power. Fergie and Pep are always questioned, "How did you stay at the top?" Well, we had to keep invigorating. United lost Nistelrooy, they lost Stam, they lost Beckham, they lost Keane, they lost Cristiano Ronaldo, and they carried on winning. You lot lost company, Yaya Toure, Silva, Aguero, and you still carried on staying at the top.
Well, if you look at our downfall this year, Roms, like obviously we won the treble, didn't really strengthen that much.
Exactly.
And then we won the league last year and we bought Savinho and Gundogan. So whenever we've kicked on, it's when we've had a good window. You look at the treble year. Who did we sign in the treble year? We signed Haaland. You know, the year after we signed Gavardio.
I was just saying to
strengthen. You've got to strengthen. I don't know. Some fans don't get it because they don't understand it. They don't understand football. You've got to strengthen all the time. You cannot afford to take your foot off the gas. It is relentless, and that's why fans are always relentless going on at the clubs because fans know. Yeah, I go back to 2012 when we won our first title. We won the title. We bought fucking Jack Rodwell and Sinclair. Guess what? We didn't fucking win the league next year. Why? Because United bought fucking Van Persie. You know what I mean? We took our foot off the gas. You look at when we won the league under Pellegrini the first year. We took our foot off the gas. Whenever we've took our foot off the gas, we've not won the league. You know what I mean? And that's what Liverpool got to do. And there's no excuses for Liverpool because you only spent 11 million quid in the summer.
Yeah.
I'll tell you the two windows where we're at the top. So 2019 window and 2020. 2019 window, you're not going to laugh. We brought in Harvey Davis, which you probably don't even know who that is, you know, but he's like a second or third keeper. We brought in Elliot, which was a youngster at Fulham at the time, and we brought in, I think it was Calvin Ramsey and Adrian. That was our window after winning the Champions League, right? We were fortunate this season we won the league because everything aligned, City dropped off, and we were crazy that year. But then after that, look, this is one thing I'll give our club credit for. I think Thiago and Jota after winning the title isn't that bad. Thiago being the best, he just won the Champions League, is probably the best midfielder in world football at the time. And Jota just had 2 back-to-back seasons with Wolves, I think getting double digits in both. So it was 2 good signings. But what we didn't do is strengthen our back line now. And then the next season, we had all of the mass injuries. We had about 4 centre-back injuries. And that's the thing, we never do enough in windows. And like you were saying earlier, Wolfie, right? We needed a DM for 3 seasons in a row. And then Klopp thinks, you know what? Let me revamp the midfield. But then we didn't really strengthen our attack and other areas. So it's always like we're 2 or 3 summers behind. So I genuinely think this summer we do what we need to do. And I was saying to Hooks, LB, you might not want to hear this, but I think it's Arsenal and Liverpool. If I had to make an early prediction, it's Arsenal and Liverpool again for the league. I think your rebuild, I know you got Pep and you have the know-how, but I think what you have to do, it might be a bit too much next season. I can see another Arsenal and Liverpool race next year, but this is the best time to retain the league because we've never done it. We've actually never, in the Premier League era, we've never retained the league, and you're not going to get a better chance to do it, man. I just think Chelsea and United aren't doing enough. Newcastle could be a dark horse, but it depends what they do. Villa won't do enough, in my opinion. The only team I seen serious, 2 teams is Arsenal and City, but I think City got more. I think City got more to do than Arsenal and Liverpool. Put it like that.
But the thing is, right? I understand what you're saying there, yeah. But at the same time, we've just had a disastrous season. We still won the same amount of games in the Premier League as Arsenal. We're currently 3rd. I know we played an extra game. We've not had Rodri all season, who's our best player, Ballon d'Or winner. He's back. Foden's been mad off it this year. I just feel that like so much shit's gone against us this year, and we're still 3rd.
True.
So like, if we can land Verts, Rodri comes back, Foden just gets better. I'm not even going to say get back to his level last year. I'm just saying don't be not good because this year's not been good. I'd buy a couple fullbacks in that and another midfielder. I don't see why City wouldn't challenge and have a serious go at that title.
I think that's Rum's hopium more than reality.
It
man.
could
Maybe.
be. It could be.
And
I just
thanks
wanted
for
to
not
say this
mentioning
thing.
my team rums in that list of teams that might contend, bro.
Wolfie, my brother, you're not going to hear this, but and I know you lot actually did well in your previous windows, but I think next season there might just be a drop off for you. I think this is a once in a blue moon season. Personally, I could be wrong,
We'll
but
see.
I think it will drop off.
But I do agree with what LB is saying on the transfer windows. But I'd go a step further. I'd say you have to strengthen in both transfer windows now. If you miss a January window, because this whole narrative of, oh, it's overpriced in the January window, oh, there's no players available. Well, we saw Man City spending
That's such PR from clubs, by the way.
Honestly, man, I hate it so much. I really do.
You can tell which fans are in the pockets of the clubs in terms of like, oh, yes, club, I'll do whatever you say, club, when you fucking hear some of the shit that comes out. At the end of the day, players are available. If the players weren't available, they'd scrap the transfer window. It's there for a reason. Pay the money and you get the player. It's not rocket science.
You know what? Our better players that we've signed in the last 10, 15 years have come in January.
Bro, you signed some mad ballers in January.
Yeah, Van Dijk, Coutinho, Luis Suarez, Sturridge. They're four off the top of my head, and they're some of our better players.
Did you get Coutinho in January?
Yeah, Coutinho and Sturridge were in the same January 2013. Van Dijk was January 2018. Suarez was January 2011. Obviously, with Andy Carroll, but we'll forget that. But we signed our better players in January. Our January windows have been better than our summer windows. That's just the fact.
And that's where I think Arsenal went wrong this year. I think they just gave up in January. And if you look at it now with the fall off, okay, you could say you've fallen off a little bit because the title's wrapped up and what have you. But I still think Arsenal should have strengthened in January. And I think it showed lack of ambition there. Do you know what I mean? It was like, strengthen, get the players in. Even if you don't win the league, those players could be ready and integrate.
Like Marmoush, innit? Like Marmoush, like, he's already doing pretty good now anyway.
Yeah.
But like by the time we get to next season, he's got 6 months under his belt. Same with Nico Gonzalez. You know what I mean? Like Arsenal done this 2 years ago, though, because 2 years ago, when they was leading the title by like 8 points, and they signed like Jorginho and Trossard, and I was just like, what the fuck are they doing? Like, why are they not going out there? Like,
to be fair though, in that window, like our main targets was Mikhailo Mudryk and Caicedo. We just wasn't able to get them over the line. So Jorginho and Trossard as backup options to bring someone in. And I mean, going to like this January, I think there's at least this is my theory. There's a bit of a difference. I feel like the owners of the club went, nah, you know what? We're bringing in a new sporting director. We don't want Arteta or anybody making any decisions on transfers when we don't actually have like a certified sporting director in place, because we could have gone out and made signings in January. The new sporting director comes in and basically goes, I don't know what you man were doing.
Yeah, but you can't put your club on hold while you're waiting for a sporting director.
Yeah, you can't. Well, again, in our opinion, you can't. But I'm pretty sure that's a risk/reward that the owners at Arsenal weighed up and just went, you know what? We've thrown a lot of money away. We don't want to throw away any more money, which I can understand. Do you get what I'm saying? So,
but that's all well and good in theory. The reality is, Edu decided to join a bigger club in August.
No, he didn't.
Oh, he did.
No,
and secondly, even though Edu had a 6-month gardening leave to join Marinakis Group, he's still been influential in the background doing stuff. Like it's only on paper. It's only on paper. So what I'm saying, no, not for you, for us. I'm saying.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Okay. So when you've got your new guy in, why weren't you getting him in as soon as Edu was leaving? And it wasn't exactly like it was shocking news. It happened overnight. There'd been a build up to it from about June time the year before. That shows me more a lack of organization again from Arsenal, that you should always have your replacements ready, or a short list of replacements. Like Edu's gone in August.
We didn't know he was leaving. Like it's all when he left, we didn't know that he was leaving. It was a shock to the club. So from your perspective, you're just getting a guy that Marinakis wanted for time. He's just coming in. So, and now he's gone on gardening leave. So you've got your new guy. So he can start doing all the stuff in the background. Arsenal, being the size that Arsenal is, we need to go and get someone who is of the level. That takes time. And Berta came in once the transfer window had already closed. So I'm pretty sure if Berta came in, say, the start of January, then we would have been active. But it's just the process.
But that's a long lag period from August
it's
when
like-
it happened.
But that's just what it. But that's just what it is. Like to fill a position of that gravity and that magnitude at Arsenal, it's not like hiring a brother to flip burgers at McDonald's. Like it's not a 1 in 1 out type setting, bro. Like
I'm hearing that. But you can't have a 6-month lag period. Just miss the transfer window and say, oh well, we just missed the transfer window. That's why we didn't strengthen.
They can though, Wolfie, if they finish second and get a Champions League semi-final/final. I think it's almost like they have put that on hold, that side of the club and the business, but they also managed with what they had with a horrifically bad injury.
But if they would have
seasons as
signed
well.
players in January, they might have won the league. They might.
I do get that, but I
Exactly.
don't know if where they were in January, they sort of felt like unless we can get a good deal in terms of like, where they went for Ollie Watkins. Other than that, I felt like they
Could
didn't.
have gone
feel
and
like
got
they were gonna be able-
Gyökeres. He has a release clause, 60 million.
Exactly.
Yeah, but I don't think there was any chance of him leaving in Jan.
Of
Why?
course there
Remember,
was.
all the chat was there that he wasn't open to leaving. He wanted to finish the season.
Well,
with
if
supporting
Arsenal
him.
went to Gyökeres and said, right, lad, we're activating release clause, we're putting you on 200 grand a week, you're going to come in and you're going to come in January, you're going to win us the league title. You're telling me
I
staying in
think-
Portugal?
I think Arsenal looked at the league because I remember the conversations we were having. I think Arsenal were looking at the league thinking, is that worth the panic? Because it's almost done. I know it's a lot closer than we actually thought it was going to be, but I think the league was done before the window opened.
I
pretty
don't
much.
think you
The
can.
lack of
I
ambition.
don't
And the
know.
other thing, Dan,
Because
let's
you've
not
got to
forget
think
their
about-
injuries.
You've got to think about before that window, Arsenal had already had like injury issues. And then the window shut, and obviously their injury issues got even worse. So it seems like they definitely should have acted. But before that window, their season was, I think they'd already deemed wouldn't be good enough to go and win it.
Well, they're still in the cups at this point as well, domestic cups.
Away with not acting in that January. For me, the biggest 2 windows Arsenal missed was this summer. I feel like their recruitment wasn't good enough, and I think last January was their opportunity to buy someone to go and win the Premier League.
Yeah, Hooks, what do you reckon Arsenal need to do then in the summer, to like push you on to win the league in terms of transfers?
Oh boy, yeah, like we got a big summer. So I'm one of the Arsenal fans that think we actually need somewhat sort of a rebuild. Like I think we need a striker, maybe even 2, probably 2. Like I think we need, in my opinion, 2 left wingers because I don't like Martinelli or Trossard. So get rid of both of them, bring in new people. I feel like we need another creative option at 10 because when Ødegaard's not working, it's kind of difficult. And I mean, this manager's shown that he doesn't have the same level of faith in Ranieri that he does in Mars Lewis Skelly. And I'd rather just not be put into another scenario where Ødegaard goes out and then if someone that shouldn't be playing in the role goes there. I also think that Ranieri's future at Arsenal is more than likely going to be as a backup to Saka until something changes there. So he's probably going to be our secondary right wing option. I feel like with the players that are leaving, we're going to need another 6 and then probably some sort of backup option unless the decision is to move Miles Lewis Skelly back into his more natural position of being a centre mid. Then it's like, cool, with the left backs that are leaving, we're going to have to fill some options in there. I feel like we're going to need, with Kyrgios potentially leaving, we're going to need to have another left centre back option as well. And then we're going to need a goalkeeper. So, and that's just off the top of my head, providing that nobody else leaves that I don't already expect to leave. And then on top of that, I think this season I hope this season has shown Arteta that this 23-man squad thing can't run no more. You need to use the full maximum 25, which means on top of all of that, we're going to have to fill 2 extra spots. So whether that's from the academy or making signings or maybe loan signings, or you know what? The free transfer market actually looks pretty nice this season. I won't lie. This summer, the free transfer market looks pretty nice.
Who's free? Who's on a free? If I got transfer,
Jonathan David. There's one.
Sane, innit? Sane.
Sane,
Yeah.
Thomas Muller, Angel Gomez. There's bare people. Like bare.
Jamie
Anyone
Vardy.
that you actually legit want, or are you getting them because they're free though?
I take Sane.
Yeah.
I would definitely take Sane. I would
Would
take
you take
Angel.
Jonathan David?
I would take Jonathan David on a free. I would be very upset if he was the only striker that came in in the summer. But
These are the best players according to Transfermarkt to have free transfers this summer, innit? Let's have a look.
Trent.
Sorry,
Would you
sorry,
take
Rob.
Trent Hooks?
Sorry,
yeah, I
Rob.
would. I'd take Trent. Yeah.
Sorry,
in a heart-
Rob.
Over Timber. I thought Timber was the best right back now. You don't need
no,
Trent.
no. I'm not playing him at right back. I'm not playing him at right back. Hey, we got a nice little place that Odegaard's occupying at the
Where's
moment.
Tar going? Is he still going Bayern Munich?
Yeah, I think that's done.
Is that a confirmed deal?
I think that's
I don't know if
done.
that is a
that one's done,
confirmed
yeah.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
He's going somewhere. He's going to a big club.
You know how nice it feels to not see Salah and Van Dijk on this anymore. Last time you put
Yeah,
this up, Robbie, they were all on there.
Yeah, that's a madness.
Tyreek Mitchell's quite an important free transfer there. I feel like
He's
he'll
a
get
free.
snapped up.
Wow.
Only
Yeah.
25 as well.
Yeah,
Wow.
He'll get
He's entering his prime.
Yeah, he'll get snapped
that's
up.
kind
He's
of mad
really
that
good.
Palace haven't done anything about that, you know, unless he's done that on purpose, you know, 25,
Do you know
26.
what?
Yeah.
I'll take him and Kirkhead and sell Robbo and Simicast. I'll take him on a free with a Kirkhead.
I've got a feeling they may have a +1 on him because
Maybe
I
they
was
have
just
a
going to
+1.
say Ola Einar's there and he's got
Hey,
a
up.
+1. So.
Hey, oh.
Carl Walker-Peters will
Messi.
get a move as well. Yeah, he's had like, yeah.
Yo.
Someone's got. I know you're doing that, LB, but someone and a serious club has to snap up De
Facts.
Bruyne.
Facts.
It's
Oh, I thought
too
you were going to say Messi.
Nah, not Messi. Messi will stay there, but I think we're just
Yeah.
skipping over De Bruyne. But like,
Only 33
nah,
years
Neymar's
old.
done, man. He's
I'd have a
injured,
little pause. I'd bring Neymar in.
I'd
man.
take Neymar.
Nah, his
I'd
legs wouldn't
honestly
even
legit.
work, mate.
I know his like injuries absolutely fucked in it. To be fair,
Wait, is Partey leaving Arsenal? Is that done then?
I think
Verratti's on a free. He's only 32.
Ronaldo.
Ronaldo and Messi on free transfers. The Prem should just do it. Just come on, like one season.
Have you not seen Tevez's testimonial or what?
Yeah.
He wants both of them to play. That would be mad.
That would be cool.
In the same team. He wants them in the front line with him.
Imagine Tevez would have the most viewed testimonial in history.
100%.
I
100%.
don't
will sell out.
Tevez was a baller,
Yeah.
man.
Do you know
Right.
what? As pure banter, he should have United and City kits as well.
Yeah, no, Tevez was a fucking
Yeah.
striker, man.
Yeah.
Looks what you said there, man. It sounds like you need a whole new team, bro. I don't like.
we have a lot
what
to
you-
do.
That's what I was
We actually have a lot to
thinking.
do. We
You
have
know,
a lot
yeah,
to do.
Rums, do you want to maybe double check you want them in the title race next year after what he's
I was just going to say that, Robbie.
Yeah.
I'll take back what I said, actually. Arsenal have more than what I It's,
Okay, but
it's back to City, Paul. It's back to City.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there are players there that Hooks has mentioned that would do a job in a title running. You know, like Trossard and Martinelli. They're not going to be starters, and they're probably not going to be like the top of the list for players you're going to have starting every game. But you'd get away with them if you were to win the league.
But Hooks,
Bear,
do you want
bear in
both
mind,
of them?
bear in mind, this is, by the way, this is my opinion on what I think
Yeah,
Arsenal should do. I don't think that, like, I don't think we're gonna gut the team to that extent. But like, we've got a load of players on loan at the moment as well that are coming back that I don't think are gonna make it in that their potential sales as well. So that coupled with the fact that. And I don't know, maybe I'm speaking too soon or out of turn, but I have a lot of belief in Berta, man. Like, this brother is serious. Yeah. So, like, it's not like I'm not certain clubs going into transfer windows with Edu. You know what I mean? I'm going in there with Berta, who's known. Yeah. Known. Yeah. You need a striker, let me sort it out for you. And Arsenal, since he's come in, have had increasingly more concrete reports around Gyökeres. So at this moment in time, I could make an educated assumption that Gyökeres is probably coming through the door. I would put it purely down to the fact that we're probably just waiting for the transfer window to open to activate the release clause, because you can't activate it outside of a transfer window. So
I thought Sesko was a done deal at the end of January for this summer.
but
and
all of that
Zubimendi.
stuff, all of that stuff doesn't matter. Anything you've seen
doesn't matter.
reported, anything that you've seen reported about Arsenal prior to Berta entering the club is irrelevant.
When did he start? When did he start?
I don't want to skip over something you said.
February, March. Go on.
I don't want to skip over something you said earlier in your segment, and I agree with Nathan here. You said you want to sell both of your left-sided players. I think Trossard you can get away with. He's approaching 30. He might already be 30. But not, yeah, big up, Nathan. Not Martin. Surely you would keep Martinelli maybe as deputy. Like, you want to sell both of them.
I just like, look, I don't like what Martinelli has become, and this little purple patch that he's having now, it's not fooling me because I've seen it before. Do you know what I mean? If he does end up staying, I don't really have that much of an issue with it. Like, if you had a gun to my head and you said pick one to go, I would pick Trossard over Martinelli because to me, Trossard. And then again,
I'm very surprised at that. I'm very surprised you'd sell Trossard over Martinelli.
No, do you know why though? Like, and I know that Trossard's going through his own little purple patch at the moment as well, which is good for us going into the the final parts of the Champions League. But Trossard's, for me, he excels when coming off the bench. I don't want any of my players to have that stigma. Like, if I have a player, I want you to be able to bring impact, regardless of whether you start or you come on as a sub. And Martinelli, he's younger. Martinelli is someone who, like, he scares teams. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you play a bit too high, then you're looking behind Martinelli, meet, he's off. I like that.
Offside, yeah.
But then doesn't Trossard scare teams? If he's coming off the bench, they're going to go, "Oh, this guy off the bench, we know what he's about."
Yeah, but that's a good thing to have now. I care less about that when I have the likes of Gyökeres coming in. Do you know what I mean?
Even Manchester United, like back in the day, used to bring Chicharito off the bench, and everyone knew there was a chance he might score because that's just what he was about. And he'd be coming on, and they had Ronaldo, Tevez, Berbatov, all those top players, and they were still bringing on that guy that was just, that moments man. And I feel like I've just seen Trossard have those moments for Arsenal, and I just feel like keeping players around like that who have stepped up in moments are good for the squad.
Yeah. I think you can make a case for so when it comes to our clubs, you really and truly you could make a case for any player to stay. But I feel like we'll never be able to grow if, like, we're going, oh, but what about this? And he can do this, and this is nice.
No, but what I think we're saying is, we're not saying you need to go and replace those players. You need to move those players down the pecking order and buy better.
Yeah,
that's what we're saying.
Get rid of them.
And starters and demote them to second choice.
And move on those loan players that you've got that haven't made much of an impact for you, or like are out on loan.
Who's coming back from loan? By the way, I know someone said Fabio Vieira. Who else is coming back from loan?
Yeah, move Reece Nelson on. Come on, that's a failed. Like,
get both of them out, man. Yeah, sell Martinelli, keep Trossard as backup, and go buy a new left winger. Go and get.
Like how you did in last summer. You moved on. You moved on Nketiah. You moved on. What's his name? The young midfielder, Smith Rowe. Got good money for those players. I think you do the same again. Move the sort of players like Trossard, Martinelli further down the pecking order, and go and buy big, better players.
Yeah, but the difference of those where they were academy.
You could be bringing Havertz off the bench. Like, you could be bringing Trossard off the bench when you got Gyökeres out there starting the game.
But do you know the thing is as well? Like, I don't like the fact that, because remember, Trossard's already rejected an offer from Arsenal, and I think that the game time that he's getting, he wants more.
Yeah, no, that's a good point, actually. Trossard don't want to be a backup. I think Martinelli would take backup.
I forgot he rejected that deal. I completely forgot, actually.
How old is he?
30, 31?
30, 31, something like that. I think he's just gone over.
Where's he going to go, realistically? Do you know what I mean? To get, like, he's going to have to drop way down levels.
Saudi, man.
For me,
Saudi.
Bro, if I was a football agent, I'd been telling my client, go Saudi, innit?
I feel like whenever you ask where's a player gonna go when they're 30, just say Saudi. That's just Saudi. My answer to Saudi.
Saudi. I would go Saudi, bro. Go get the cash in it and fucking live in a hot country, innit? You know
I don't begrudge any player for taking that move.
Nah, I don't either.
I would do it.
Yeah, I would do it.
We're just looking at it as fans. You need to see what it's going to do for your family and set up, generate. Anyone that makes that move, I'll never, like you said,
that sets up family members you'll never meet.
Meeting exactly.
You know what I mean?
It's a
Yeah, like in
no-brainer.
200 years, like the kids gonna be like, "Daddy, why do we have so much money?" And it's like Trossard played in Saudi Arabia for 2 years and secured
Granddad
the family's
Trossard,
wealth.
yeah.
It's like, all right,
Yeah.
fair dues.
I could easily see him going to like the German league.
Maybe.
The thing is, Hooks,
German league.
He's
You
a
said-
Dortment signing. That's
Yeah.
what Dortmund written all over
Him
it.
and
you know?
Pascal
Or
Gross
like
just
big-
like
or
ripping
like-
up the
you know what I
old
mean?
Brian days.
Hooks,
Yeah.
you've put this wish list out, but realistically, how many do you think come in the summer?
Maybe 4, 5. Like I don't know. It would. I don't know because I'm in the realms of the unknown because I don't know what I don't know how the owners are viewing it. So I don't know if they've gone, you know what, we didn't really back you in the summer because all of the signings that you did make was off of the back of us selling players. So we didn't actually dip into any of our funds. And then in January, we didn't sign anyone. So I don't know if they're looking at it like, cool, Berta's here now. Yeah. It doesn't matter. Name your price. It doesn't matter. Like whoever you want, we go get. I don't know what the mindset is. So I could say one thing, but then you could see Arsenal go make 7-8 signings. Like I don't know what the goal is. I don't know what the aim is. And part of me is like what I'm really waiting for is for Berta to come out and actually speak. He hasn't done any media stuff yet for Arsenal. He hasn't spoken. He hasn't told us what his plan is. He hasn't. I think he's waiting for the season to end, which I like because he's not trying to distract anyone at the club or any of the fans away from the fact that we have to focus on what we're doing on the pitch. When it comes to the summer, I'm pretty sure he'll do some media stuff and then we'll learn a bit more. But I don't know why he signed the contract. I don't know what the terms were when he signed the contract. I don't know what he demanded from the owners. I don't know what the compromises were. So we'll find out. All I know is I believe that this window for all teams is going to be super active. Like this is going to be a super active.
I think it's going to break the transfer record.
Yeah. So
I think it's 2.3 billion. Yeah. I think it's going to be broken because I think City are going to do 250, 300. I think United will probably do 150, 200. Arsenal will probably do 200. Liverpool, I reckon, could do 250. I think it's going to go off. And then you've got the likes of Newcastle, who seems to be fucking free from the chains that they've had on them for the last couple of years. So like, they should spend. I just think we're going to see so much money spent.
You're going to see two windows,
LB,
LB.
can you say that again about my club? It just sounds nice. How much do you think we'll sell? I'm just not used to hearing them. I'm just not used to hearing them figures.
I think you'll see two transfer windows with the June the 30th cutoff because there's obviously the end of the PSR year, June the 30th. So people will balance the books. You will see the PSR party deals with selling kids to one and back to the other. I think it gets serious from the 1st of
Don't
July.
we have 2 transfer windows this summer?
Yeah. And within that, you've got the Club World Cup transfer window as well. So
do you not think that just makes a whole farce of the system when like
Just
teams
leave
are
it open?
selling, just teams are just selling youth players to each other to get around the rules?
They'll do something about that soon. They'll have.
What can they do?
Because if you have one season where it's done and it's just like an outlier, they go, "Oh, look, we messed up there." But if you have it every season, that players like, I don't know, for example, Amari Kellerman was bought for like 20 million last summer. If that continues to happen, they'll do something about it. I don't know what they will.
They won't, Dan. They said
you can't do
we did
anything
it
about
with
it.
Newcastle, and they said it's been noted. We'll look at it. Nothing's happened.
Yeah, but if it continues to happen, they will bring in some. They will either adjust the ruling, won't they, so that isn't needed to happen, or they'll do something to restrict certain age of player or certain they'll do something to stop that happening.
I don't see what you can possibly do to solve that because you can't start telling clubs what the player's worth or anything.
Well, you can. That's the thing, isn't it? They're trying to get in an independent regulator who puts on a fair financial player value on each player. That's what the approach is.
So
they'll be like, this player cannot move for more than this amount of money because it isn't fair market value.
That they can't.
If you pay over fair market value, they'll obviously investigate.
Market value is what the fucking person pays for the situation.
Right. So then it would probably push up through. So like Villa would never have been able to sell Jack Grealish for 100 million, even though they needed to.
But that
But how
was his
can
market
you
value
say-
because that's what
Yeah,
City paid.
I agree. Market
crazy.
value is
You
whatever
might think
someone
City
is willing to
overpaid, but
pay for it, isn't it?
Exactly. That's why when you put a house on the market, 200 grand, yeah, that's what you want. Until the house sells, it's nothing.
I'm not
innit?
being coy, by the way. Someone's saying that in the comments. The only thing coy about it are the Premier League clubs and how they run, because they're all looking for that slight advantage. They're all
course they
looking
are.
for loopholes and margins.
Which I
and
think they should be doing because that's what
yeah,
they
they
should be doing.
should be. But I also think the Premier League aren't doing a good enough job to, manage sporting integrity. I think that's something that is.
The
Yeah,
only
because
thing they could do, which I don't think they can do anyway, is say that academy players are 100% profit towards PSR. And I can't see them stopping that. I don't think they should be, by the way, because you're just seeing all these young talents just getting chucked left, right, and centre. It's
Yeah, but
almost
that's
like
what the clubs are. Yeah, but hang on a minute. The rules are to make the club sustainable. So if one of the ways a club can be sustainable is by growing a youth players and then selling them, that is a sustainable business model. If they then say, no, you can't do that, the clubs are going to go, hang on a minute. What are we actually doing
We've
here? You want us to
invested
be
this much.
sustainable. So we've invested into these youth players, grown them, and then sold them for profit, i.e., sustainable. And now you're telling us we're not allowed to do that. They can't do that. This is the problem with these rules, is they all panicked, yeah, when City got bought and that, and Chelsea, obviously Chelsea under Roman and that, they all panicked and then they went, oh, we need to get some rules in. And they brought these rules in, yeah, and now they're realizing that the rules are just fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And it seems they're getting around them. They've not stress tested the rules. Like, they've just put the rules in place. They should have, I said this a couple of weeks ago, like, when they put them rules in place, yeah, they should have employed like a group of like mad accountants, like KPMG Donnies, yeah, these fucking big firms, and said, right, these are our rules. We want you to get around these rules. Here's some money. Your job is to break the rules. And then what they would have done is they would have come back to the Premier League a couple of months later and said, we broke the rules and they got out. We sold a couple of hotels to ourselves. Like, oh, fucking good one. Yeah, I will change the rules. But what they do is, because they're stupid, the Premier League, they bring the rules in, and then a club like Chelsea will sell hotels to themselves. Everyone loses to shit. Chelsea haven't done anything wrong. Chelsea haven't done anything wrong selling the hotels to themselves or selling the women's team to themselves. Why? Because it's permitted by the rules. If you've got a problem with it, fucking blame the Premier League. Do you know what I mean? These are billionaires. They ain't going to be playing nicey nice. They're trying to fucking develop the club and build the club up and win and that. So this is, for me, it's just on the Premier League. I think the Premier League are just incompetent at the job. And
also with the third-party transactions as well, let's not forget, because I think City don't get enough credit for what they did there, because that's opening a hell of a lot of doors if that's opened up. You're going to have corner flag sponsored for 100 million. Do you know what I mean? It's going to be like the manager's dugout seat, $500 million and what have you.
You know what?
That
Corner
could go
flag
crazy
sponsorship is
fun.
unreal, Wolfie. You should be a marketing genius, because think how much camera time corner flags get.
Exactly.
Oh my god.
No, Dan,
Posts.
not even just camera time when they're taking a corner. Celebrations, Mateta
Celebrations,
always goes to the
everything.
corner flag. Like,
yeah, but when Jamie Vardy goes over and breaks it.
Yeah.
Or you
Remember
get Kevin
Rooney-
Keegan, who does
Rooney-
the whole takes the corner flag in the middle of Turkey and puts it in the
Oh,
centre
that's
circle.
iconic.
Or
That, isn't it?
even Moreno's celebration where he goes around it. And
Yeah, around it.
yeah. Like,
I'm telling you, man,
that's
there's money
actually a
there.
Good idea. That's a very
Huge
good
money.
idea. You know?
Nah, it's mad. It is mad. But that's the problem that the Premier League have got. Is like they've got these rules that they want to bring in, but like they've not thought it through. And now it's just a complete and utter mess. It's a complete and utter mess. And like you've even got like teams like United now, who were like, they really wanted the rules back in the day, and now it's fucking them over.
Yeah.
And now they're gutted about it. Whereas City
love
are chilling now, because once the thing is with
Same.
these rules is once you get to the top, you're chilling. You're chilling once you get to the top because you keep winning. So that means you got all the big sponsors because the sponsors pay you the money because you're winning. You're always getting to Champions League semi-finals, so you're getting all the eyes on your kits and that. So you keep the money coming in, and then you just stay at the top. But when you drop down, and then all of a sudden you need a big rebuild, you need to spend 400-500 million quid every fucking year, and then you sack a couple of managers, it gets real difficult to get back up because of them rules, man. So yeah, they've fucked it, man, to be honest with you. But obviously City are taking them to court again, I think. I seen it the other day. I've lost count with what's going on. But
Look
yeah,
at that
City,
comment from Mr. Battle Red.
damn right, and
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm shocked that no one's done that yet. I can't believe that. That's such a good idea. There must be.
Man,
rules
I've got
against it.
crazy better ideas than that. You know what I mean? That's just like off the cuff one. There's so much money to be made.
No, there is. I reckon there's rules against it, I reckon you're not allowed it. I reckon you're not allowed sponsors on the corner flag. I reckon it's
See,
got to be.
you
Is it-
technically are. It's the third-party transaction thing that was stopping it. Like, why
Oh,
would you not
really?
do it? And could
Yeah,
you
but
imagine,
there
you know,
might
the
be
net, when you do
regulations
the net,
against.
you
There
could
might
get
be
it
regulations
designed in the
against
sponsor's
advertising on it,
logo.
though.
Like, there's so many things you could do, man.
Yeah, I reckon it's because it's part of the actual pitch. I reckon the
Yeah.
Premier League probably say because it's part of the actual pitch. Nah, like everything outside.
But
the
you know,
actual
like in
field of
NFL, where
play,
they have
you can
like
do what you want.
the touchdown will be like sponsored by Gatorade. You know,
Yeah.
like the
Yeah.
whole end will just have Gatorade like projected on it for the TV and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
100%. That's what the American businessman will introduce to the game.
Yeah.
100%, because they know how much money that brings in.
I think
And
it
that's
looks
something
nice.
else there. What Thunder has just said. I can see a stage where VAR, when it becomes the review, becomes an advert break.
Yeah,
Do you know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah, yeah.
Oh
That-
yeah.
That could happen. I could
Because
see
that's what
something.
they're
'cause they do that
desperate
in
for,
America.
isn't it? They're desperate to put adverts in football.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what they'll
Oh,
do is
so
they'll
do
get
you
these.
think, conspiracy theory here, but do you think that they're on purposely taking so much time on VAR for like waiting for the opportunity to arise? Do you think they're instructed to take that long?
They could get to the stage where they get the
I reckon.
decision in 30 seconds, but they won't announce it until they
Yeah.
come from an advert break. You know, stay tuned. We'll find out. Was that offside or
Yeah.
not? You know,
They
that
should
kind of
be
thing.
lapping it up, you know.
I don't want that to
my
happen. That's too bad. I don't want that to happen.
Because that's the
That'll
problem in
drive me
American
mad.
football. The amount of breaks you have in it, you know, every time there's a flag thrown or whatever, oh, fucking hell, here comes another break.
Can you imagine
You
the
don't wanna
fans at
ruin
the
that.
ground? They'll literally have to wait for a TV advert to finish for the game to resume.
Yeah.
Crazy.
That'd be
You
mad.
know what, right?
I actually reckon that's going to happen. I reckon that will happen now. You said
That's
it.
going to kill the game off. I'm
It's
sorry.
definitely an
That-
event.
We'll go back to this in 2 years' time when it's announced.
And
You
I'll
know
tell you
what?
what, the other thing is they want drinks breaks as well, because that's another advert opportunity.
Yeah,
Do you know what I
drinks
mean?
break.
You can see
And what
that.
they'll do is be like, oh, it's player welfare. The players
Yeah,
have to be able
exactly.
to have job. It's like, you know, oh yeah, that's what they'll do. And then because they'll do it in that way, yeah, where if anyone criticizes it, you're against player welfare. And it's
Yeah.
like, no, players have been doing this for over 100 years. It's fine. Players can run around for 45 minutes without having a drink of water.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? And then yeah, they'll do like more sponsors and more TV adverts. Yeah, it's mad, isn't it? Fucking
Crazy.
hell. There's so much more money to be made out of this. They've not even started, bro. That's the thing, isn't it? Mad. What time are we on? 5 past. Let's just wrap it up with a bit of Chelsea talk, because me and Wolfie are going to do our separate preview. We're going to record it tomorrow, guys. So we'll save that for then. Dan, what's going on with Chelsea, man? Talk to us, bro. You're currently out of the Champions League spots, but you did get got a big win the other day against, was it Fulham? Coming back from 1-0 down. What you saying about your chances of getting top 5, mate?
Top 5 is going to be tough. I think that result of the weekend, I didn't really see that coming, especially like 80 minutes in. I really didn't think we were going to win that game at all. I think both goals as well, by the way, they're like anti-Maresca football. Like they weren't what he's asking his team to do there. I feel like the players kind of just went on their own sort of initiative to get that result, you know, which is good to see. But it's going to be so tough. Like our running is just so difficult. I think Everton's maybe the last fixture I look at where I see us potentially picking up points, maybe a win. And then other than that, well, I think other teams have just got an easy running where they're going to pick up more points. And then probably we find ourselves getting Europa League football next season, whether it's through where we finish in the league or winning the Conference League, to be honest.
Do you know what, Dan? Don't let the City result against Everton even fool you. This is why the City result was so impressive, because they hardly lose. They hardly lose. They drew against us and Arsenal. I think they're better at home than away from home. Obviously, Wolfie would know recently. That's a little dig at you as well. But Everton aren't a joke. And
now we drew 0-0, didn't we, at Goodison as well? We could have gone top.
Exactly. And
we drew.
you drew 0-0. I just think I look at your running, and other than United, I actually think that's for me, guaranteed 3 point. That's how little I rate them. Plus, if they get to the final, their priorities will completely shift to the final by that, because that's your last home game, isn't it? I believe United at the Bridge.
I think
believe
so,
that's
yeah.
your last home game. But other than United, and I can't remember the rest of your games off the top of my head. I don't know where your next win is.
This is their running. This is their running, Roms. This is their running. Okay. So they got Everton at home. Then they've got Jurgarden.
Your garden. Say your garden. Your garden.
Yeah.
Your garden
at home. Then they got Jurgarden again. Then they got Newcastle away, United at home, Forest away. they're just fucking solid games, aren't they?
Yeah, they're tough, aren't they? They're tough if those teams are still fighting for something, which most of them will be. Like United could be on holiday, could be an opportunity,
So could
but
Liverpool. Liverpool might just be beached, man.
they could
Because
be.
the thing is, they're not in the Champions League either. Like, if I was a Liverpool player, I'd just be fucking session now. I'd get another point first, and then once I got the point, I'd sesh that, man.
Like I said, the year we won it, you battered us 5-1. When Chelsea confirmed the league when they played you, then you spattered us at 5-1 at your bit. And Arsenal even beat us. I think Reece Nelson scored in that game. However, I was speaking to my friend yesterday. He made a very good point. I've been saying for weeks, we might just be on the piss and we might just start throwing results away. But you know what Mohamed Salah's mentality is? He wants to chase all them records. He wants to break the assist record. He wants to score. So, and I think Slot, the type of manager he is, I know once you win something big, naturally your motivation drops, but he might let it drop maybe 10%, but I don't think he'll let it drop. When we won the league, it dropped out by a good 50. So you never know. It'll probably still be a difficult game, but I can only really see United winning or running. I think our game you most likely draw. Everton, I can see another draw. I can see a boring 0-0 or 1-1 lunchtime result. They're very tough. They are very tough to break down. That's why LB, your performance last weekend was so impressive to keep a clean sheet at Goodison and beat them. But do you know what?
Yeah, but the one thing I would say about that Chelsea Everton game is though, Everton, when we played them last week, I didn't see at all, other than set pieces, how they score a goal. So if you can score one goal, you probably nick it. Because the chat will tell you, like the City fans in the chat will tell you, like who watched the game, they had 2 chances the whole game. They were both set pieces. They did absolutely nothing else in the game. But defensively, they're very difficult, obviously. So if you can get one goal, you'll probably win.
But they should have scored that header that hit the
Yeah,
post.
they should have. But what the point I'm making is,
I hear
set pieces, and we're not particularly great on set pieces anyway.
Yeah.
If you can deal with the set pieces, you probably
even if Chelsea win that game, right, and we get 3 points there, potentially we nick a win against United, that puts us on 63. I don't think that's enough on its own to get
one more
Champions League football.
You'd have to beat Forest on the last day of the season.
You'd have to beat Forest, or you'd have to nick a couple of draws as well, and just hope.
Your best hope, Dan, is that we're done before we play you, and we can give a shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then who?
Or
who
that we're
else is
in.
it?
No, I was going to say the FA Cup final will be the week.
But then
before,
what if Chelsea are in a situation where, the games against your garden don't go exactly how we expect them to, and then they've got to rotate strongly and make sure they play a strong squad, and we go into a game that we could win with a rotated squad, and it's the biggest issue for Chelsea right now is that 2 of their starting players are 15 games without a goal in Palmer and Jackson. That's huge.
Palmer and Jackson. That.
And you know what? I posed this question to you, Dan, because LB just said if you can nick one, Everton don't really threaten you as much. But then I'm thinking, well, can Chelsea even buy a goal at the moment? Because like you said, it was individual brilliant. 2 great goals, by the way, that won you that game. But I watch Chelsea and just think, you have so much possession. You keep the ball pretty well. I think even when I saw the possession stats, I think you're 3rd or 4th in the league for keeping the ball. So that's not a problem. But I don't see any penetration. When I watch it, I don't feel like there's a goal coming. I just feel like Chelsea's going to keep the ball, get to the final third, and not really do anything with it. But let me ask you this, because I speak to Don quite a lot, and he wants to start George. Now, I say there's pros and cons to that, because the pros will be, look, he's very confident, and he seems to take the chances that Jackson might dwell on. However, you play him 1 or 2 games, he goes missing, people then, his confidence then drops. Are they expecting all these things of him? I want to know your opinion on George, because it's not just Don, to be fair. I've seen around the Chelsea fan base that some people actually will now want to start him, that he's earned the right to start, because Jackson and to be fair, Jackson isn't doing anything at the moment. But what's your opinion on that?
Yeah, I think he's done enough to sort of put himself into the conversation, but it's so risky, isn't it, from Maresca? Because even with Jackson out of form, if you play George and it doesn't work out, people will look at you like you made a big decision there. I mean, look, as harsh as it is on Tyreek George, he's a young lad. He might get a start in the Conference League, maybe 2 games. He's probably going to start potentially against this Your Garden, and then potentially he gets good minutes in the Premier League towards the end of the season. That's not bad for a kid his age to be coming off the bench, have a bit of impact, make a really strong sort of case for staying at the club over the summer, not going out on loan. Because, Esteval's arriving, players in his position are coming in the summer, he needs to sort of put up some good numbers and some really good performances from now to the end of the
with
season.
all due respect to Jackson, this guy's not scored a Premier League goal in 2025.
Yeah. No, he's been injured as well, but people were saying,
He
it's
still
his
played
injury.
1,
and he
2, 3,
he didn't
4,
score
5, 6,
for
7,
8
8, 9,
games
10,
prior
11,
to
12.
getting injured.
He's
8
not scored
games
in
prior to
12
getting
games.
injured as well.
It's bad, that, isn't it?
Yeah.
12
Might even
games he's
be
not
before
scored in
that.
the
It
Premier
might be
League.
more than that, LB, actually.
I'm just doing Premier League. I'm not doing like
Yeah. I
Conference
think it could
League.
be more because I think he's played in other comps, but yeah, it's bad, man.
Palmer needs to step up as well, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, this guy,
Yeah, but you say that, right? But all right, Palmer does need to do better in terms of goals, but Palmer was like instrumental in the goal that got us the win at the weekend. He did a little turn, got the ball, played a nice pass, and then obviously he was a few passes off being the man for the assist or the goal. But if he hadn't have done what he did and have a little bit of class, Chelsea wouldn't have won that game.
If I'm being honest with you, bro, I think it's a managerial problem.
It is
Because
100%.
what game did I watch? It was the Ipswich game, the 2-2. And when I was a watch along, right, and I was watching Chelsea, I was like, these guys have got no patterns of play. They were just hoofing the ball in the box. Palmer was just getting the ball and just clipping it in the box every time. There was no like, okay, this is how we've got the ball. This is how, and you're watching a team and you're like, like City always try to get the ball to the byline, cut it back for a tapping. Yeah, you all know like how teams try and score goals, innit? I was watching Chelsea, man, against Ipswich, and I was like, and this is a team that's been relegated. I was just like, I just don't see what they're trying to do to score a goal. Obviously, you go 2-0 down, end up drawing the game 2-2. Probably a good point at the end, considering we was 2-0 down. But I don't know. I just think it's a managerial issue, man. I didn't see players that were like getting unlucky or anything. I saw players that didn't know what to do because of lack of instruction from the manager.
I think that's what the Fulham game was for at least 80 minutes as well. I genuinely thought Fulham were going to have that pretty much tied up at 75, 80 minutes. And then Tyreek George obviously took his opportunity. And I think it just incentivized the other players to sort of just do something a little bit different. If a kid's going to rebel and, have a shot from outside the box on the half turn when no one's expecting it, then why doesn't someone else just try something a little bit different? And I think they sort of went away from what Maresca was asking them to do just for a couple of seconds. And I think it surprised Fulham because all of a sudden we weren't predictable.
Yeah.
But we did have chances in that game, but we just showed a real lack of clinical ability in front of goal as well, as we've done for months now. But yeah, I agree. I think managerial issues are definitely.
Do you think
there
he stays next year?
I do, yeah.
You don't think the club will go?
Like, if they sack him, the sporting directors have hired like Potter, Lampard, him, Poch. I mean, how can you trust them to do any better than what they've done when they've made 4 mistakes already? Unless you get rid of the sporting directors and move in a different direction, I don't trust them to bring in anyone better.
Wait, Dan, do you think that he stays even? I think you do win Conference League, by the way, but let's say you don't win Conference League. Do you still think they keep him?
Yeah, because I think they'll say that because we got Europa League football, it's progression from the year before, even though technically we qualified for Europa League last year and Man United winning the FA Cup meant that we didn't get it.
Why,
But he's got to get, what did Poch get? Maybe like 63 points, I think, something like that. So he's still got to get 2 wins to get level with Poch in the Prem, which is kind of mad because I think he's actually ahead of where Poch was at this point last season, but Poch finished the season really strongly.
You won like last 5 games in a row, didn't you?
So I think ultimately he's still ahead of Poch right now. So if you look at it and do like a progress report, he's still ahead of the curve. But I think if you look in a little bit deeper, I don't think Maresca's cut out for a Premier League job, to be honest with you, because the form guide tells you what you need to know right now.
If I'm being honest with you, I think he's underperformed. I think, I don't think he's very good with the press. I don't think he's very good with the fan relationship. You know what I mean?
Fulham half time, no lie, they were like calling him. I'm not going to say it, but they were just the toxicity towards him was unbelievable, so bad.
Wait, your fans or Fulham fans?
Yeah. And then do you know what? Then we
were
won.
calling him a wanker.
Yeah, they were. It's your channel. But do you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to get you demonetized, but then the other guys were like, at the end when he didn't come over to like celebrate with the fans, everyone was livid, and it was like, oh, he don't even come over, but he was just on the back of some awful stick. So
Yeah.
But do
I
you
don't
know
know,
what,
man.
Dan? Like, I feel like it's built up frustration from your fan base because when he's saying, I can't remember word for word, but when he said something about the atmosphere, then he's saying, I feel like he's kind of prodded at the bear like over the last month or two. And the thing is, as a manager, even if you want to say certain things about the fans, you need to get them on side. They're the first people you need to get on side. So even if you have to lie and say, just start saying things you don't mean, just say it to get them on side. You can't be calling them out.
Roms,
because-
you got to know the fan base, like you know
Yeah.
Chelsea. So with Chelsea, like Chelsea fans are like, we got to win, we got to be like that guy because that's what they've had with Roman. It's not an entitlement. That's just how they are. It's like you've got to win. So saying stuff like we're not in a title race and the target's not to win a title when you're literally like 5 or 6 or 7 points behind Liverpool. Is
No, we
fucking
could have
ridiculous.
gone top as
Yeah,
well.
You
2
could have gone
points
top.
behind.
Ridiculous.
Top.
Then saying stuff like, "Oh no, Champions League is not the target this year; it's next year." He is saying the completely wrong things that fan base wants to hear. So he
But also
doesn't
that
get
the
Chelsea.
players
He
wanna
doesn't
hear,
understand
LB, as
Chelsea
well.
fans.
The players as well. The players don't want to hear that. The players
Yeah.
want to go into training and think
Yeah.
their manager believes they can win the Premier League. Do you know what I mean?
And you know
Give them
what,
all
Dan?
confidence.
Dan, what you
Yeah.
just said is spot on because it's evident in some of the interviews. You've heard Madueke Palmer and that. They then asked, do you think you can win the league? This is when you were kind of first or second. And they're even kind of and ahhing. It looks awkward. Like they don't even know how to answer the question because of what because if they say one thing and the manager says another thing, then it looks like you're not on the same side. It's crazy. It's actually crazy.
I've
But,
got to ask you this,
yeah.
Dan. There is a scenario where you don't win the Conference League
Yeah.
and end up back in the Conference League next season. How would you feel about another Conference League campaign?
It would be what it is. I think Chelsea would be the creators of their own demise in that sense because I think I said at the beginning of the season, if you hire a manager like Maresca, you are taking an incredibly big risk if you want to progress the team forwards. And I said, look, it was probably the right decision to get rid of Poch, but no one expected us to go for someone that wasn't an improvement on Poch.
You needed to
Who
get
are
the
you
Luis
thinking?
Enrique, man.
Yeah, of course. You need to go a step above Poch, right? You need to go, Poch has done some good groundwork here, but now we're bringing in a winner. And they went the opposite way, or they took a gamble with someone they thought could be a winner. But I think mentality-wise, everything he said has just proven that his mentality is not a winner's mentality.
Yeah.
I just don't think it is. And I look at his Leicester team as well, by the way, that's come up into the Prem. And I think it's been one of the worst Prem teams we've seen. I think Southampton tried to play football in a way that was too good for them, right? And they didn't have the quality. But Leicester have been, I think, in my opinion, the worst team in the Prem this season.
I said this.
And
I
that's
said this.
said this as
Maresca's
well.
team.
People argued with
They
me.
barely made any additions. Like, that's Maresca's side.
Do you know
Skip.
what? Do you know what? People just look at league position, but Southampton have good performances. I remember when
They
we
just have
went there,
bozo moments. Yeah.
like
Yeah.
it's not hard to perform.
We
against
should have beat
United.
United home and away.
Yeah.
Exactly against us at their ground. I think it was a few penalties that got us over the line and whatnot. They were actually very good. When you actually watch them, they've even got that Fernandez centre midfield, which I think is
he's
very
actually
good.
quite good. Yeah.
Yeah, they've got a few ballers and they have
Dibbling.
they have patterns of play, but they just don't have the quality to play. Yeah, Dibbling as well. They don't have the quality to play out for the back, and they'll persist with that.
Because
But
they're
you're
still
spot
looking
on.
like Bednarak.
Exactly.
They're
And
trying to, like, play
you're
out from the
spot on.
back.
Dan and Wolfie, you're spot on. I've been saying Ipswich were the worst. The Premier League table doesn't really suggest that, but they were the worst team this season, 100%.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I've had that argument
Not
before.
Ipswich, Leicester.
I probably agree. Yeah.
Leicester are the most comfortable team you can play against. Like, even when we played Southampton, we went 3-0 up and they turned it on and brought it back to 3-2. Like, they put the pressure on us. I've seen them play good football. It's just the moments, the way they tried to play out the back was suicidal.
Yeah.
Like, some of the goals they give away, then the heads then drop and then they collapse. Whereas Leicester, there was nothing in defense and nothing in attack, nothing in the midfield. They're just 11
There was
bodies
no,
on the
I didn't
pitch.
ever see fight from Leicester. I didn't see any desire to go and like win the games to an extent. I just felt
They still
very,
got
like,
Vardy up front. I know he's retiring now at
Yeah.
the end of the season, but it's like I feel like they were just clinging on for dear life. Like they just need a complete and utter refresh.
The
Leicester,
problem
innit?
you've got if you keep Maresca down, I think you buy a couple of those Leicester players. I could see the keeper coming your way.
yeah,
The keeper's
probably-
all right. He's not a bad keeper, but I can see him coming your way.
Well, I
Yeah,
mean,
some
Despite
Maresca
the
is
amount he's
hard, isn't it?
conceded. Despite the amount he's
Maresca-
conceded.
Maresca already started last summer. I rate Dewsbury, by the way. I'm not going to do revision and
Yeah.
actually rate him, but he brought him in
Nah,
already.
he's
So
dead, Roms.
you don't
He's
rate him.
so He's so
I just
poor.
Dan, I just don't think he's
So
Chelsea
below
level.
it.
He's
He
not
could do
Chelsea
well at
level,
mid-
yeah.
he could do
I
a mid-
genuinely don't know if he's Prem level, you know. Before he got relegated, I was like, this guy's actually not that bad, and he should probably go and rip it up in the Championship. He had a good Championship season, but now I'm thinking he's one of them guys that, like, the step up to the
Dan,
Prem, I just don't know.
No,
if it's
no,
gonna
but do you
work.
know what I disagree? Because I've seen him do it in the Prem. His
I've
first
seen him
campaign
do it
for
in the
Leicester,
Prem, but
so I just
he's
think
regressed, Roms. I'm telling you, like, he's worse.
There's a
now
lot
than
of
he was
players
at
that have
Leicester.
regressed this season with Chelsea that you expected to do well. Like when you brought in Cuckoo, he's one of the hottest players in the Bundesliga. You've ruined him. Neto, I know he scored against Fulham,
I
but
think Nkunku, Cole Palmer, Gusto. I'm trying to think of a couple others. Reece James. I think they're completely ruined because of the tactical setup. It just does
Yeah.
not suit how
Yeah.
they want to play.
you know what, Wolfie, though. But before we do wrap up, I've got a few questions for you, right? Because I do think you get Champions League by congratulations as well. Top 5 from where you come from this
Thank
season. That's a very big achievement. And I've been saying it's between Slot, Eddie Howe, and Nuno Espirito Santo for manager of the. We know Slot will probably get, but I think them two should be spoken of highly. But even with Champions League, look, there's been a lot of rumors of if City don't get Verts, they're looking at Morgan Gibbs. Why? Ole Aina, will he sign? I actually want to know a bit because I don't really speak to much Forest fans. I actually want to know a bit of what's going to happen in your summer with the Champions League football. That will Gibbs White stay? Will Aina stay? That what will happen with you?
Ole Aina will stay. They've got a +1 on him. I'm not worried. They're just negotiating a more extensive contract, a longer term contract on him. So hands off. He's our best player.
I'd say
just
He likes Arsenal, though, you know. He's spoken very well
what
about
are you talking about, man? He's a Chelsea boy for a start.
Wait, have you seen the way he speaks about Arsenal?
Yeah, he speaks politely about a lot of clubs.
He's just a flat guy.
Yeah,
he
he's
knew,
just a nice
his
guy.
contract was running down. He was like, I better speak kindly about all these teams, you know.
Yeah,
Even
man.
the
He
top
started.
little
He was
Spurs
shaking his
league
bum
team
for
that you
Man
know,
City
you know.
at one point as
No,
well,
he says
talking
he
about
says-
Doku being the best winger.
No, he says we're the hardest to play against, we're the best. So hey, I did say about left back, certain man leaving.
What he said,
can play left
what
back.
he said was mentally the concentration levels you have to have against Arsenal is crazy, like high, because you're
Thank you,
constantly
Dan.
got players coming in, out, moving
So we played the
around.
best
He was like, it's
football.
just so difficult to know who to pick up.
He said we
Yeah,
played the best
and then
football.
Hooks is making it sound like he's saying, "Come get me." You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm just saying.
What about Gibbs White though? Wolfie,
Gibbs White. The talk was in January they were going to start sitting down at the end of the season to extend his contract because he loves being at Forest. Obviously, now the rumors are coming out about Man City, and Man City fans are getting excited because this rumor, I don't know where it's come from, that he was house hunting last week in Manchester.
I heard that. It's
How
Yeah,
long's the
I've
drive
heard-
from
I've heard
Manchester?
LB say, Dab say, every single City content creator's been going on about where you got your info from. I have no idea. Like if he was out house hunting in Manchester while we're fighting, FA Cup and Champions League football, then where's he finding the time? But I've said it, and I know LB's going to be like, oh, but Dap said this and the other. I think he's overhyped in certain aspects of his game. I don't think he's a 10. I would play him as, and I'm not saying he's shit. I'm saying he's a quality
Yeah.
player, right?
But
I don't think he's a 10. I think he's more of an 8.
A lot of City fans don't want him as a 10. We want him as an 8. If you speak to a lot of City fans, most City fans, well, there's a lot of City fans that don't want him, but like a lot of City fans say they'll take him as an 8, but we would be mad gutted if we bring him as a 10. That's what City fans are saying.
How old is he now? Is that a good 23,
He's 24, 25, something like that.
Yeah.
Mid-20s. He's coming into his prime. His work rates are phenomenal. But he
Yeah.
He'll
can't
be
shoot.
washed under Pep. I'll tell you that right now. How many English players have gone to work under Pep and then it just goes wrong?
I
man?
don't think it'd be a good
I
move
think
for
that's
him.
one that will work. I think that's
How many
actually one
English
that will
players?
work, man.
No,
Because he has
I
the
think it would
technical
work.
aspect.
Foden?
He has the work rate. I think that will work under Pep. He will
Foden
change.
never
his-
went though, LB, did he? Foden got
Stones?
Was there.
educated.
Yeah.
I'm
Stones?
talking about like
Look,
Calvin Phillips, Grealish, like these players.
Yeah, but we should
now.
never have bought Phillips in the first place. He was never good enough for City in the first
Yeah,
place.
you should have left him for us, man. And then
City
again,
don't want him.
we would have read him for him anyway.
All I'll say is if you get him, it's going to cost you a bomb because he is like the poster boy. Even though I don't think he's our best player, but
What
he
do you
is the
think it'll cost?
poster boy. I think you would be looking at 75.
I think
Forest
City pay-
apparently have put
I
a
think
100
City
mil
pay
tag on
75.
him.
I
Wolfie,
think City pay 75.
do you know one player you've been really unfortunate with? And whenever you see him play, you just see a glimpse what this guy could be. But Danilo, I think if you can keep him fit next year,
Yeah.
you've got to play. He's one of them players, right, where I think if he stayed fit this season, you're speaking about him going to another top 4, top 5 team. That's how good he is. Because
He was
whenever I
linked
see
with
him
Arsenal.
I remember he was linked to Arsenal as well. But I just think whenever I see him play, whether it's the last 10, 20 minutes or he just looks class. He just looks absolute class. So
Yeah,
I
and
think
he's not injury prone, Rums. That's the thing. He broke his ankle on the first day of the season against Bournemouth. So it's not like he's pulling a hamstring every 5 minutes
Has
or
he been
something like
fit
that.
since he returned, Wolfie?
No, he has not.
But that's
I'll be
what I
honest
mean.
with
Have a good preseason all
Yeah.
the summer, then I think he'll kick. I think for the fans that haven't watched him properly, I think he's going to be like a new signing, not only to you lot, but I think to the rest of the Premier. That hold on, like where's this guy coming from? Because we've not been able to see him consistently. But whenever I've seen him, he's bossed it.
When he first came in, the end of that season, he was one of the best players we had. He kicked on the following season, but then he was meant to start. It was meant to be him and Sangare as the 6 and the 8 in the midfield. But game 1, he snapped his ankle against Bournemouth.
Yeah.
So
What's happened to Sangare as well? He
can't get fit. He can't get a run in the team. Now that he is fit, he's not getting into the team. I still think we need a player like I think he's quality still, but we had AFCON when he came in, then he got malaria when he came back from AFCON and all this stuff. So he's just had so many hamstring injuries as well. So it's been a pain in the ass.
Who do you lose, Wolfie, this summer? Because you are inevitably going to lose players. Who do you think are gone?
I honestly don't think we lose any of the mainstays. Like maybe Morgan Gibbs-White. I don't think Murillo goes.
I think City signed Gibbs-White.
I just think it would be a mistake, man.
But don't you think
you get away with Murillo and Aina and Gibbs-White? Like, would that be fair to say those 3 could go? And maybe Sells, because he's been.
I don't think Aina goes. I don't think Murillo could go if crazy money came in, but he's just signed a new contract.
Yeah,
in
he's
January.
got a heavy deal. That's the thing with Gibbs-White. He's only got 2 years after his contract.
Yeah, Gibbs-White's got 2 years. I don't know. I think the thing with Gibbs-White, he is Mr. Forest right now. Like I know he's from Wolves and what have you, but he bleeds the badge.
Built around him. It's kind of everything.
It's built around him. But I just wish he would learn to shoot, man. His shooting is so woeful.
Wolfie, I said this. It's not even that. It's shooting's woeful. Right?
Off his price
I said this to my boy the other day. It's not even that shooting's bad. When he's supposed to shoot, he doesn't always shoot. He will lay it off. Yeah. And it's sometimes I'm screaming at the screen, Gibbs White, let it go, like pull the trigger.
He can't shoot, Rums. He fucking can't shoot. It winds me up so much. Yeah. I've said in the last few weeks, he reminds me of Bruno Fernandes. You know when you watch Bruno's highlight reel, and you'll see like this lovely pass out wide, this free kick shot and what have you. But if you watch Bruno in the game, if you speak to United fans, there's 10 passes that have gone astray for every 3 passes that have made. There's the Hollywood balls and what have you. There's a lot of similar traits. I'm not saying they're the same level players, but there's a lot of those traits. So when you watch Gibbs White as someone who doesn't watch Forest week in, week out, you will see that highlight package reel where he's done a Travella pass out wide, nice little flick here, but you miss all the misplaced passes and the shots.
Your Gibbs White is similar to our Gravenberch. They'll pirouette, they'll glide past 2-3 players, but they're shot because Gravenberch can't shoot as well. Any Liverpool fan that said he can, they're lying to you. He can't shoot for anything. That's one aspect of his game that he's to improve. But you're bang on. Whenever I watch Forest, I'm just frustrated with Gibbs White because you've got a bag of ability, but you can't hit the target. But then you know what? When he does score, they're normally worldy goals. They're amazing. He's like, what do they say? A great goal. A great scorer of goals, but not a great goal scorer.
Exactly that.
He scores bangers.
I'm not downplaying him for the sake of downplaying him, whatever Daps is saying to you, LB, right? I'm just saying I'm being realistic, but I guarantee you if you speak to 85% of the Forest fans, they'll tell you we can't lose him. Greatest thing since Collymore or whatever, right? But if you just watch him in detail week in, week out, there's just flaws in there that I think get highlighted and exposed more in a City team, unless you push him deep into the 8, where I think he would actually revel.
That's where he'd be.
Yeah.
You know what?
That's surely where he'd be.
Yeah. Imagine LB doing his watch along that season. If Gibbs White goes to City, he's 1-1. Oh no! Like he went 1-1.
He won't even be doing oh no. It'll be when I'm doing my watch alongs and he gets the ball on the edge of the box. It's like Gibbs White on the ball. Bro, don't shoot. He shot.
Sure,
It's
yeah.
like either in the crowd, hits the corner flag, or if it's on target, it dribbles to the keeper. Do you know what I mean? That's the frustration.
That doesn't
The
sound
Hooks
great.
would take him at Arsenal.
I'd rather have
Oh,
Tijani
what-
Reinders, man. I watched him last night.
he's
Tijani
a
Reinders
player.
against Inter
He's
Milan.
so good.
He is a
Yeah, look,
fucking. By the way,
Who's one player everyone would love to see come to the Prem next season?
Everyone's warming up to my
For our
Tijani
team or just the
Reinders
Premier
thing.
League?
I think
Okay.
you could say your team, but I
Okay.
reckon the Prem, just in general, like a player you
For
want to
me,
see.
it
in
would
the
be
Prem.
Reinders. And I'm not just
Yeah,
saying that LB said it 2 years
Every-
ago. I kind of was on the bandwagon before people really knew about
Yeah.
him, before he went to Milan. But I was thinking, this guy is a baller. Like, people are saying, I'd want to see. That's my one.
He was class last night, man. He absolutely fucking cooked that midfield. His goal as well. He took it so nice, man. He's just. He does
LB,
look
is
like a
the
top
rumors
player, man.
true? Like, are you actually in for him? Because I see a lot of City
Nah.
in for him,
Nah.
whatnot. Oh, fair
Nah.
enough.
He's only
I
just
would
signed a
say
new contract
Edison. I
as
know
well,
it's
hasn't he?
boring, but I think he's quality.
The
Atlanta.
Atalanta player.
Yeah,
Who?
Oh, bro.
LP
Nah,
don't
he's
like
shit,
him.
man. He's
I like
shit,
him,
bro.
man.
Nah.
You
Wait,
reckon?
what player? Sorry, what player?
Edison at Atalanta.
We're linked to them again. So
I
you
don't
want
rate
you
it,
back?
man.
I wanna
I like
see-
him.
I want to see Xavi Simmons. I've got a feeling he moves to the Prem because you know
I think he's going
Leipzig
Liverpool.
bought him,
He
didn't
might
they,
come
just-
to us.
I think he's
you
going
know?
to Liverpool,
Yeah, I
bro.
thought
Real
Liverpool,
talk,
man.
man.
Cherky as well. He needs to be in the Prem.
Get Turkey
I
in the
think he
Prem,
goes
man.
to
Yeah.
United. It's gonna make me
Dude.
sick, but I can see United paying that for him.
Yo, if United get Cunha, man, Cunha's disappointed me. I've got to say, fucking, he's shown no ambition.
I think he's going United, man. I think he's going United.
Why? Why?
Obviously, no one else wants him, innit?
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 just
For
get
definitely,
Wolves.
he's not going Arsenal.
Yeah. Obviously,
Who?
he's ready to take a step
Cunha.
up, innit? Like,
Step
sorry,
down,
Wolves
more
was
like.
one, innit? My bad, innit? But like, he's ready to take a step up from Wolves, and obviously, United are the team that's in for him. You know, he's got an engine. He can get goals. Sometimes he's a bit wasteful, but he can get goals when he's like on it.
Wolves manager is decent, by the way. I think he'll have a better job than Wolves soon. He's
Yeah,
had some
they've
good jobs
won
already.
from-
Oh yeah, they're
Five
top
in
of
a row.
the form
£100.
table. They're top
Yeah.
of the form table. Yeah.
He's good.
Just to put
But
it out
having
there,
said that, they did beat like Ipswich and Leicester. I think in there.
They're up to
or Southampton.
15th now, Wolves.
Yeah.
hey, Wolfie,
The level on points of United is hilarious. You know they were. You know when Amarim came in, they were 13 points clear of Wolves
They were
When he
4
came
points
in.
off top 4, weren't they? Or
Yeah,
top
Yeah,
they're
five?
four
yeah,
points
yeah.
off the top four,
Yeah.
man.
and
How good
13
is
points
this
clear of
United?
Wolves.
How good is this United down? I just love
Oh,
it.
I love it, man. I
They've still
just
not got-
wish
when
the
we-
bottom three were better, man. Spurs, United, and West Ham going down. Oh my God, what a relegation!
would've
That
been
I think the whole
crazy.
Premier League would have celebrated that. Could you imagine those three going down?
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
It's a shame that the relegation teams are so shit that like
Mm.
fucking
Because could you
Yeah.
imagine like a Spurs, Man United, West Ham relegation battle? Like it could be unreal. We only needed
Yeah.
one
That would
less
be-
shit championship team,
Yeah.
and them lot are in a position
yeah.
of like.
Do you know what I
concern
said to my mate the other day? You know, I was like, do you remember when the 4 teams went down? I was like, imagine there was 4 teams going down this season. Like
Yeah.
you are looking at
West
the
Ham or Tottenham.
tightest relegation battle all the way up to I think Everton.
oh shit, yeah.
Do
Wow.
you know what I'm
yeah.
saying? It just needed one more place to be available, man.
Maybe they should consider increasing the amount of teams that get relegated.
Nah, could you imagine like the 4 championship teams come up? They're all dead.
Yeah, for real.
That would be so poor. Can you imagine the quality of players that would be coming?
What
into the
about
championship?
right? What about 3 teams get relegated, and then like you have like a little mini tournament, right?
Yes, I've said that
like
forever.
Germany? Germany do it with the playoff.
Yeah. So then,
game.
like,
Yeah.
so West Ham would play Spurs, and whoever loses, basically, so it's the reverse competition.
Spurs would claim that as a win, by the way.
Yeah,
They'd
so
claim
Spurs
the
then-
trophy.
Spurs are chilling, but then West Ham would then have to play
They
the
would.
loser or the
They would.
winner of the team in the championship, and it's like whoever, like, you know what I mean, whoever wins goes to
They
the
swap
Premier
places.
League.
Yeah, they swap
Yeah, they
places.
swap places basically. Yeah,
Yeah. That
That's
would
a
be
good
we need
test.
to we
I
need to
actually
fucking
rate
make
that.
football.
You know
like, make
what?
football fun again, innit? It's boring, man.
You know,
what I mean?
LB,
Get some fun in this game.
Speaking of playoff, though, you don't probably already know the rule. You know, how a lot of if you've got 2 league teams on the same points, it's head to head or it's goals scored. I didn't even know this. You know, Sarah. If Inter and Napoli finish on the same points, which
Yeah.
they're currently on the same point, they actually do a playoff. They don't do head to head.
Yeah,
They
so
don't
we do have that in this country, but we have loads of metrics first.
Oh, first, yeah.
So we
yeah.
got like they only have like 2 or 3.
Serie A were like, we can make money off that game.
Yeah,
Let's
Serie
do
A
it.
were like
as quick
so
as we can get to a playoff.
The Premier
Let's
League,
do
you
it.
got like 8. They got goal difference, goals.
Where, I bet they
goals
don't even
against.
play it in Italy. I bet they play it in Saudi Arabia or America or something like that as well.
Yeah.
You can
I think-
imagine that.
I think the most sorry, I think there's a lawnmower in the background, but I think the most fair thing would be, I think it's still head to head, because I think if you're on the same points, it's who did better when you played each other. I still think that's the most fair. I don't like how it goes straight to goal difference in this country. I know it's about goals being scored, but I think head to head's the most fair, because it's like who
The best
was
thing,
better.
the playoff is, Robs. The playoff is because
You reckon?
if it goes, because if it goes playoff, like the whole world will tune in to watch who wins Serie A. Like it'll be.
Yeah, but they should
huge-
do that in the Premier. You know what they should
so
do?
good.
They should do. The bottom 2 go down, the top 2 come up, right? And then in the Championship, the next 4 play to who plays 17th in the Premier League.
Yeah, that's
You know-
what they
you know what I'm
do.
saying?
Germany, innit?
Yeah,
That's
the
like-
German
yeah.
style one. That would be fun, man. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
I actually rate that idea. Like, there's been some pretty like Jeopardy. I don't know the right term actually, but there's been Jeopardy like on the line for like Schalke played it, didn't they? And they had like and Hamburg as well.
Yeah.
Big clubs have been in that playoff game in Germany in recent years, and they have lost.
We need to do
it's
something,
kinda
man,
mad.
because the relegation teams are just
Dead.
dead.
It's dead. Yeah. Or
Last
the 4
year,
teams.
all 3 teams that come up went down. This year, all 3 teams that have come up have
All
gone
right, so
down.
Leeds and Burnley are up, right? There's one
Yeah.
more to go. Might be Coventry because Super Frank's at the helm. But who do you think? Like, do you think any of those teams stay up next season? Because
I
my
think
straight away, I'm like, no.
Leeds have the
Leeds.
best
I think
chance.
Leeds-
But I
They're going
can't
to
Yeah.
say-
back far, couldn't they? So they might get a
Yeah.
better manager in.
I need
Leeds
to
have
see the
to
signings, bro. It comes down to the transfer windows
They
for
still have
me.
a couple of players they retained from when they were in the Premier League, but I don't know. I think it's still 3 up, 3 down. I wanted Sheffield United to come up because they guaranteed 6 points and back down. But that's how I look at it. So
The reason
I
why I
think
want
Burn-
Leeds to stay up is a bit of bias. We got the common hatred for United, and I've never really.
yeah, right. Everyone hates Leeds though, man.
Yeah,
Everyone
but Leeds
I
are
know
a
everyone.
Prem sort of side, aren't they? Leeds have got.
I
the
get that.
history
I
and
get
they're
that.
a
Them
fan
Sheffield
base.
Wednesday, I'd like to see them back up. You know, those
You know
kind
what?
of teams.
Sheffield Wednesday, was it Danny Huckabee or whatnot? I was watching Premier League years. He was a
Darren
player.
Huckabee.
Was it Huckabee, the one that
At
could
Norwich.
dribble and whatnot? I might have
Norwich.
butchered the
Sheffield
pronunciation.
Darren
Wednesday,
Huckabee
yeah.
was at Norwich. That's what I remember.
He had Andy Sinton back at Sheffield Wednesday back in the day. Do you remember him? He was at Spurs as well. Andy Sinton. Who else did
Ah.
they have? Did they have No, who had
Who's in
It
the
was West
playoffs,
Ham.
by the way? Who are the teams in the playoffs?
Coventry, Sheffield United.
Sunderland, are they there?
Huh?
The Sunderland in with a
Sunderland are
chance.
4th,
think-
yeah.
Sorry, it was
Yeah, 'cause
Coventry.
I would take Sunderland.
Right, Bristol City are there, no way.
Bristol
Oh.
City. He's still got. There was a stage last week where every team in the championship could either be relegated or promoted. There was like, as in
Yeah, the
not
championship looks like a sick league, man. Like loads of shit going on. in that
championship
league.
is good to watch just from watching the table. Do you know what I mean? Not the
Yeah.
actual
Yeah,
football,
yeah.
but the interest in the table and the positions. Believe you me, I can vouch for it. You don't want to be fucking there, right? It's a cesspit.
Unless
Stay
you
well
got
away.
Scott Parker at the helm, then you're all right, aren't you? Boring football.
Exactly.
guy.
Yeah.
Get me
Just doing-
Portsmouth back, man. I want Portsmouth back, innit?
Sunderland would be decent, I think. One
Well,
of them.
Portsmouth in the
Middlesbrough.
Premier League, man. That was such a
Middlesbrough. You don't want to
sick
be old
team.
enough to remember the Janino
Nah, I
Ravanelli
remember
days.
Janino. I remember
Yeah.
Janino.
I remember Middlesbrough in the Premier League.
Macaroni? Was that a
Oh,
player?
yeah.
Did they have
Do
Macaroni?
you remember when they had Southgate and they got, was it in the UEFA Cup? They got quite
Yeah.
deep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
they did. Yeah, no, yeah. Portsmouth had a sick team back in the day, man. With like
That made
Cranshaw.
them go
LB,
bust,
LB
though,
with the
man.
little TY sponsor in the love heart.
Yeah.
LB, you sure you want Middlesbrough again? They might hit you for 8.
Now we actually we played him in a cup. We played him in the cup a few years ago. I went to it. We got our revenge, man. We knocked him out. We were knocked out the cup.
Do you know
innit?
what's mad, LB? Yeah, it's like all these teams we're talking about, like Borough, Portsmouth. These are all the teams that I used to have City in the exact same bracket, like as a kid.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
And now
before the
you
oil
just-
money. Yeah.
distance yourself from all these teams. It's crazy.
Yeah,
I want to see Sunderland though. That time at
Sunderland
times
would
at Derby, we need it back. De Canio giving it to the Geordies.
Yeah, but would it be good anymore now that Newcastle are just fucking well better? than
True.
That's That's true, actually.
It
'Cause
still
was
would
like-
be, man. It still
You
You
would
would.
be.
say that, but then we're miles above Everton, but Everton always give us a game. So like, I think you know what at St James Park, I don't think it will be exciting, but at the Stadium of Light, I think it will go off. I think it will.
I don't
still
know,
think
I
it'll
just
Imagine
be
like
feel that,
Newcastle
like-
were going for like
I don't know.
Champions League or Premier League.
Yeah, and then
they've got
they're
to
the
play
teams-
Sunderland.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
a fixture you just
Or they
don't want. It's
relegate
like,
them. Yeah.
You didn't want that
You know what,
Everton
Dan?
fixture at all this season, Rob.
You know
You're
what,
like,
Dan?
don't.
You're spot on because I've always said if there's two grounds I hate to go to in a running, I never want these two clubs in the last, as a Liverpool fan, the last 8 games of the season, Goodison or Old Trafford. I never want either of them teams. So you're spot on because they'll just, even though it's a derby, they have extra incentive to want to stop you. Well,
You
I mean,
got
it happened last
Tarkowski
year.
turning up scoring goals of the season contenders, mate. Just to, like, that's what happens in these games.
It happened to us last year, actually, with Mainu scoring and Bruno scoring from in his own half. Like, I hate going away to Goodison and United in a run-in. So I think it would add a bit of excitement. I want to see Sunderland back up. Actually.
Yeah, that's a good shout. You know.
It'll add excitement, man.
Yeah, madness. All right, boys. Big up to Ahmad Man with a super chat. Says, as a City fan, I don't want Newcastle to get a Champions League place and we take Bruno G, but that means Isak goes to Arsenal or Liverpool. And I don't want that, says Ahmad. Nah, I want Bruno G badly, man. I fucking love that guy so much, but he loves Newcastle. He loves Newcastle, man, big time. Like, I always see him fucking buzzing about it. I seen him singing songs, Newcastle songs with his kid, and I was just like, for fuck's sake, man. You know what I mean? Why can't there just be an argument between you and Eddie Howe?
Speaking of Sunderland, he was chanting about Sunderland in the song as well.
He
Has he ever
was,
played
but-
him?
Did they play them in the? No, I'm sure they played them in the cup.
Oh, they did, FA Cup.
Oh, they
FA
might
Cup.
have. Yeah.
Last year, was
Yeah,
it
they
last
did, you're
year?
right,
Like,
you're
Did you
right.
say Sunderland knocked them out? Or am I going crazy?
Nah,
Sunderland might have-
Newcastle cooked them, I think.
Oh.
I swear Newcastle cooked them. It was like
But then
last year or the year before.
Newcastle lost at home to someone last year. It was embarrassing. I think they were like either championship or they were like bottom 3 in the league. I can't remember, the chat right remember, but someone knocked Newcastle out at their ground last year. And that's when Eddie Howe was under severe pressure. I remember it. And then obviously they went on their top 4. No,
They knocked
they
us out,
won in
the
the little
Beatles.
downward
Fuckers.
spiral.
Yeah. Nah, big up Ahmad, bro. Like, yeah, you're on me with you're with me with the Bruno G, man. I think it's top quality. All right, then, boys, we'll leave it there, man. Me and Wolfie will do a separate video chat for the City Forest FA Cup semi-final. So stay tuned for that in the coming days, man. But yeah, big up to you three for jumping on, man. Shout out to Hooks as well for stepping in last minute for Potsy, who's doing some AF TV work today, man. So yeah, big up. I think Big Steve's live chat, so I'll redirect you to him. But yeah, big up to you lads. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the show. Smash a like on the way out, people. Drop that like button, man. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel as well if you're new. And I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out, people.